Welcome back to the Mega Man 11 Any% speedrun tutorial. I gotta say, while I was recording footage for Fuse Man, this stage is honestly pretty easygoing. I mean, especially after Bounce Man, this stage is just, it's a lot more fun and enjoyable to run. Now, most of the Impact Strats DLC in this stage are in the first half. This stage is actually kind of reliant on drops. Only in the sense that you're essentially looking to save almost 5 seconds if you get some good RNG. So be sure to take every opportunity you can to be efficient with them. Otherwise, the strats themselves aren't too difficult. There are only 2 rooms that have difficult strats, and there are easier ways to do the room if you feel like taking your time. This room, for example, is one of them. One of the things that I would encourage you to learn is to be able to beat this cycle. It took me a little while today. I spent a solid chunk of time grinding it out. I somehow managed to do that without getting hit, even. Basically, every other time you're going to get hit doing that, and honestly, as long as you can get rush up there, that's all that matters. But if you get some good drops in the beginning, you can actually beat that by a landslide. A low 104 as you touch the store is kind of what you're looking for. I was a little bit sloppy, so I ended up towards a 105. But again, that's with no drops at all. If you get drops and you know how to spend them, you can push that way lower. There's a lot of opportunity to use impact ammo in these rooms as well if you have it. If you don't, then you can get by just fine without. The bounce weapon that we got from Bounce Man is actually very, very useful. And then in this room, you're going to see me going for the strat, but I actually get hit by the laser. I just continued with this anyway. You'll be forced to wait here for a sec, otherwise you're going to just take more damage for no reason. But nailing that specific quick cycle would save about 3 seconds. So considering that I got no drops on this particular playthrough, and I was otherwise clean, I'm pretty happy about the way this stage turned out. The quick kill itself is very demanding. However, it is very consistent. This is one of the quick kills that I very rarely mess up. So although it's asking you a lot to do in a short span of time, it's something that I've been able to replicate again and again. So the first room isn't terribly complicated, and a lot of different runners, they actually all do this room very differently. But a rapid spray of shots takes care of the first spark. As you descend, 2 more will take out the next 2. A charge shot from this green platform hits both sparks guarding the entrance. Then swap to impact, and I like to turn power gear on early because in this room it's more of my focus to get a very low jump impact. If you impact too high, then the 3rd spark in the room will actually hit you with its field. From the bottom, get up onto the first ledge, do a full jump, do another powered impact, and then as soon as you can, swap over to bounce, aim downwards, fire away, and then switch back to impact in case the spark drops a little bit of ammo. It's pretty tight to beat the first laser in this room. Just make sure you jump as soon as you touch the ground and then slide as soon as you land again. Rapid fire shots as I jump to clear out the spark, and then powered impact so that I can leave the room. In the next room, you might run into an issue with block. That's because block is one of those weapons that you can't just spam, so it does have a small cooldown between each use. If you fire as you jump over this gap, and by the time you get into a position to hit the air turret, the block should clear off the screen so that you can fire again. This should give you enough opportunity to recognize a weapon drop if one happens, and then you can pick it up with impact. Double powered impact makes this room pretty easy, and then I swap over to bounce in preparation for the next room. Now these generators have a small chance of dropping ammo, but it's not worth it to destroy them and wait around for the ammo drop if it's there. You'll get a small break before the next long room, and this room is actually one of the more difficult ones. As I slide into the room, I do another short slide and then cut it off with a jump and torch at the same time. If you're not close enough, your torch is going to whiff over the robot. Swap to impact immediately, short hop and pile driver. You'll barely be able to beat out this laser before it would hit you. Fire some rapid busters close to the ground so that you hit the lower spark and then immediately begin sliding. The lasers on the 2nd floor won't spawn until you reach the end of the room, but the faster you go down here, the more likely the floor chasers will be in a better spot on the 2nd floor. As soon as you can, do a powered impact, and if you're getting hit as you drop down rather than from the laser, then you're looking in good shape. Now make sure you're grabbing the ladder at the absolute peak of this coil jump, because the moment you grab the ladder is actually when the lasers on the left side start their cycle. Practice the movement over these floor chasers, get as much ground sliding as you can, keep it as optimal as possible. That's one of the keys to success on this rush coil placement that I found. The other key is that you call rush before you get hit. Now I actually managed to reach the height and call rush, and then I let go of jump before I got hit, which is good, but that's not typically what's going to happen. On that note, here's something else that doesn't typically happen. If you have enough ammo for it, then you can just do 3 powered impacts, and that really beats the laser on the left side of the room. However, you'll have to keep moving quickly so that you can beat the laser on the top of the room. Anyway, here's all that movement all over again. So entering the room with torch, jump torch, impact, some rapid fire busters, powered impact, call rush, rush coil to the top, and then get as good and effective ground sliding as you can. I'll just barely be able to get over here and call rush. And even if you can't call rush and get him up on that ledge, I've used speed gear a number of times to help finish that room up. As you approach this Pac-On, he should open up as soon as you approach him, so you'll be able to take him out with the buster shot instead of using it to remove his shield and then kill him afterwards. So Dreadspark is an incredibly easy mini-boss, provided that you don't miss with these shots. Right up in his face, I hold Rapid Fire Buster on the first jump, then switch to Power Gear, and that allows you to spit out more shots, because normally you would only get 2 shots in. At this point, you can check to see if you have impact ammo, otherwise these are the strats you'd be going for. Sliding across this room, just make sure you have a torch equipped, and then I like to turn on Power Gear before I hit the transition, hold Rapid Fire Buster, and it'll automatically kill the 2 bats. Call rush as you get to this ledge, and it should take you straight up to the top. If you have impact ammo, you can use it to get over these hazards, but if not, these jumps aren't terribly tight, so it's not a real threat. As soon as I fire this bounce, I immediately slide so that the pulse doesn't hit me. And as I rush jet jump up here, I actually like to fire a buster shot and start charging my buster. You'll need it to clear out this room if you don't have more ammo. Land, slide, release your buster, and then check for ammo drops. The bounce weapon takes out this enemy pretty quickly, and then if you do a full jump rush jet, you don't even have to climb this ladder. Now, if you had some good drops earlier in the stage, then you can switch over to impact. I had just 1 blip, which is enough if you get really close to do a powered impact in all of these guys' faces. And then one of them dropped a little bit more ammo, so I was able to go for another trick where you jump, rush jet, and then powered impact over this guy. Now, thanks to Prisi, it is possible to get a faster cycle in this room. It's just a little difficult. Not much room for error, and this is a very unique rush jet. You really want to press jet and jump at the same time if possible, so that you don't bonk your head and end up not landing on rush. You need to keep moving very quickly throughout this section. You can see that I'm barely going to make it, and I still get clipped at the end of this, but at least I got pushed forward. Gonna switch over to Prisi's footage so you can see it at full speed. Catching this early cycle really requires some precise movement. For this last room, it is possible to do this without the use of speed gear, but it is incredibly tight, so just a brief flick of the speed gear will allow you to beat the laser cycle. Now, the stage overall, not so bad, 2 particularly difficult spots, but then you have Fuse Man, and yeah, this is one of those kind of tougher quick kills to get. But once you get the muscle memory down, it becomes much easier. Start the fight with Power Gear and Rapid Fire Buster held down. As soon as I see that I've fired a shot, I slide to about the center of the room before I call rush, so that rush can be in a good position. Make sure you have your buster held down so you can start a charge. If you fire the moment your double buster is charged, you're going to hit his shield. So stand by briefly and just wait for it to dissipate. The moment you see his shield go down, you can release and then immediately switch to speed gear so that the red buster can hit him. His teleport is random, but if you left rush in the middle of the room, then your chances of it being useful are significantly higher. Swap back over to Power Gear and start charging another buster. It's going to be pretty tight. You're going to be very close to overheating at the end of this fight. As soon as you fire at Fuse Man, turn your Power Gear off to let it cool down just a little bit. To finish the fight, move away from the center, call rush, and turn your Power Gear back on. Start charging another shot, and then as soon as you have a charge shot ready, let it go. So again, at full speed, and this fight is basically all muscle memory. There's a lot of working parts you have to get your hands used to. Power bounce slide, call rush, double buster, speed gear, power gear, double buster, to the side, call rush, double buster. Thanks for watching. See you next time with Acid Man.